$2 Tuesdays at WagerTalk.com and SportsMemo.com, where you can get the hottest handicappers' best bet or daily package for only $2.
Welcome to WagerTalk TV. I am Carmine Bianco, and this is Stoppage Time. It is the Champions League show, guys. 3 games we're going to cover. Champions League's back. I'm so excited to have it back. We're going to do the Inter Milan Barcelona game. We're going to do Chelsea and AC Milan, another big one. And then we're going to finish it off with PSG and Benfica. Another good one. 3 games. The odds in these games are so close to even, and this is why we're going to cover these games as opposed to big favorites like Liverpool by a couple goals or so. With me from WagerTalk.com, it's Nick Borrman and Kevin Dolan, and from Sports Memo, my favorite prop guy, Pavlos, Laguretos. Let's bring the guys in. Guys, I'm going to bring you in, and then I'm going to talk about something which I am pretty psyched about. If you follow me on Wager Talk and on social media, on Twitter, you know that I was involved in a Circa Millions contest. My entry, which you'll see up on the screen there, Don't Stop Believing, ends up in first place after the first 4 weeks at 18-1-1. And Adam Trigg, his entry with San Fran winning last night, tied us. So Trigg and I are going to get to split the top 2 prizes, 150 and 60, 105,000 US, which is probably about $500,000 Canadian for me up here. Absolutely thrilled about this. We have the best proxy service out there, Winners Circle. And I'm psyched, guys. Any ideas on what I should do with the cash?
Well, thankfully we made that back before you did the picks that we were going to split that. So I think we can all spend that money pretty easily together. Carmine, I appreciate it.
Not a problem, Nick. Give me your address and just wait by the mailbox. It'll be there eventually. But yeah, I would love to fly Kevin Dolan in to Vegas. We need to get him. We need to get him over here, man.
I can't believe you're doing the show today, Carmine. I just, your dedication to this Stoppage Time show it's really commendable. I salute you, I applaud you, because I'm telling you now, if I won what you won yesterday, there'd be an empty chair on Tuesday's panel for sure.
Yeah, no, listen, I'm super psyched, but I had to do the show. I was out with some friends watching that game last night. As you can tell, I'm losing my voice. So you guys are going to do all the heavy lifting today, and I will take care of you as I always do come Christmas time. But you guys are going to do all the heavy lifting today. I'm going to quickly mention who I like in each game, and then I'm going to throw it to you guys. But I will say this. I'm pretty happy about, if you watched last week's show, I went 4-0. 3-0 on my leans, 1-0 or on the show best bet at the end. So a 4-0 day there. I'm going to try and keep that hot streak going, and we're going to get right to it. So let's have a look at Inter Milan and Barcelona. The odds on this one, we'll put them up on the screen. Inter Milan at home, plus 326. The draw in this game is plus 278. Barcelona, minus 118 in this one. Nick, I'm going to go to you first on this one, but I'm going to say this is a different Barcelona team than last year. They are playing extremely well. They're now on goal differential, top of La Liga, a place they haven't been in a while. And Lewandowski, the guy is scoring goals again for this team. And this isn't the same Inter Milan team. This is another year where, the changing coaches for this team, the manager for this team, they're just not playing well at the moment. And I have a feeling that these back-to-back games with Barcelona, that they could very well lose both of them and be at the bottom looking up. So I'm going with Barcelona. It's a very short price, minus 118, but they are the informed side where Inter Milan are not. Barcelona for me. Nick, what do you got?
Couldn't agree more, Carm. Barcelona were just lost last year. And the one future I put in for this season in La Liga was Barcelona to win plus 140. So I am certainly happy that they're back on top. They've given up 1 goal so far in league play, which is just incredible. Inter, they've just not impressed me at all this year. They have 5 wins and 5 losses in their 10 combined Serie A and Champions League matches. But if you look at the competition that they played, they've beaten the teams they should be beating. You know, the crap teams, your Lecce and your Spezia, Torino, even Plzen in the Champions League. But quality sides, they've lost to every single one they faced. Lazio, AC Milan, Bayern, and then most recently Roma this past weekend. So I can't trust them against another quality side here in Barcelona, who I think is playing as well, if not better than most teams in Europe right now. They opened the season, Barcelona that is, opened the season with that draw against Vallecano, but 6 straight La Liga wins. You mentioned it, Carmen, they sit atop the top with Real right now. 1 goal is just, insane that they've all created, that they've allowed so far. Granted, it's been a pretty easy schedule thus far, but let's look at the group stage games, right? You have both teams obviously took care of Plzen pretty easily, but if you look at the Bayern match, Inter were, beaten by the exact same score, 2-0, but XG, if you look at that, I mean, they were walloped by quite a bit, 2.5 to 0.7 against Bayern, while Barcelona actually out XG'd Bayern 2 to 1.7. And I know XG doesn't really, win game, or it doesn't win games, but it does tell you a little bit about the chances on the field. And watching that game, I didn't watch the Inter Bayern game that much. I saw some highlights, but I did watch most of the Bayern Barcelona game. And Barcelona, I think we could all agree, probably deserved at least a result, a draw or something in that game. They played well enough. They just couldn't quite get, the goal that they needed to. But that's not usually the case this year because of Lewandowski, and they actually have a guy that can, take his chances and convert them. So bottom line, his line for me is I don't trust Inter in a big game. They've certainly proven that they cannot win a big game this year, and Barcelona has confidence and a striker to convert when they get their chances. So Barcelona, small price, minus 120 right now is the way to play it.
All right, Nick Borrman of WagerTalk.com with his thoughts on Inter Milan and Barcelona. Pavlos, I'm going to go to you next. Listen, I mentioned at the top, you look at Inter, and this is a tough group for them, obviously, with Barcelona in it and Bayern Munich. And these next 2 games are against Barcelona. You would think they need a result here, but this is a team with now 2 straight losses in 3 of their last 4 in league play. They're sitting in 9th place in Serie A. The collar has to be getting tight on Inzaghi. If they continue to struggle, he could get dropped. He could get canned before we know it. Give me your thoughts on this one.
Yeah, that's very true. And Nick made some great points about how Inter Milan, they struggle a lot when they face any team of value so far in the season. So they pretty much, I think they lost all the matches where they played some of the big teams. And yes, of course, they won a couple of matches against the teams, the league's lower sides like Cremonese and stuff like that. But their defense has been an issue this season. And at the start of the season, when we did a couple of shows about the Serie A, I mentioned about how Inter Milan made some great additions to the roster, but they all are in the midfield and in the offense. They didn't get a single defender, and I'm pretty annoyed by the fact that they didn't get any defenders, because that defensive trio they have is just horrible. I mean, Bastoni, Acerbi, and Skriniar are really a big liability. De Vrij has lost his place in the starting lineup. He was a starter in the first 4 or 5 matches of the season. Now he's benched, and it's not really working for this Inter Milan side, who are going to have a tough time containing this fiery Barcelona offense. Barcelona, they're probably going to field Ousmane Dembele tonight, who is a really, really good player. Of course, he's had a couple of injuries to kind of derail his career, but this season he's been on fire. He's very, very active. He always pushes down on that. He started on the left flank, now he plays on the right flank, and the defenders that play defense on him, they usually get carded. So I expect, especially Ousmane Dembele, to terrorize this Inter defense. Of course, everybody's eyes are going to be on Lewandowski and how they can contain him and keep him outside of the of the box and deprive him of goal scoring opportunities, which only makes Dembele's work easier. So I think he's going to terrorize this really soft Inter defense. I think Bastoni is one of my main guys to get carded tonight. He's a guy who's He's 6'2" or 6'3", I believe, and he doesn't really turn all that quickly. And Dembele is going to terrorize him. Just mark my words. So I like Dembele to score anytime at plus 275. I do see goals here, even though, Inter Milan have lost all their matches against big teams. They do tend to score in big derbies. They scored in the 2-1 loss to Roma. They scored the 3-1 against in the loss against Udinese. They didn't score against Bayern Munich, but they scored a couple of goals in the 3-2 loss against Inter Milan, and they scored a goal in the 3-1 loss against Inter. So I would be surprised if Inter Milan got on the score sheet here, especially with all the absences in Barcelona's defense, mainly Koundé and De Jong, and Araujo, who has been really good so far in the season. So I think Dembele is the way to play this. There are certain sportsbooks that have this price even at plus 350. I think plus 275 is the way to go here. Dembele to score anytime.
All right, Pavlos Laguretos of Sports Memo with a scoring prop. Barcelona from Spain. So you have to give the final word on this game to the King of Spain. Kevin, what do you got?
Well, look, if I pick Barcelona as well, they're destined to lose. We all know how this works if we all agree on the panel. So I'm going to go the other way. And it's not just because of that either. Like I was, obviously, I'm big into price points, right? And my thing about this game is I believe the price point has passed a certain point now where the value, in my opinion, is gone on Barcelona. Last time I checked, I think it's up to minus 135 now. So to me, that's simply too high. We all know why that price is the way it is. Inter Milan off to their worst start to a Serie A campaign in 11 years, coming off that first loss to Roma since 2017 as well. So, there's no delaying it, obviously. Inter are, struggling right now all across the board. But, look, maybe Barcelona wins this game. Possibly they do. I'm not arguing about that point. I really am not sure which way to go on this one. But at the end of the day, value in my mind will always be value, whether opinions, on a certain game are right or wrong. And tomorrow night we have a situation, in my opinion, where Barcelona are priced as shorter favourites for this game and in this venue than Liverpool were back in February. Liverpool, that was the same Liverpool side that almost won the league last year. They reached the Champions League final. They were the favourites in the Champions League final. Are Barcelona at that? I know, don't take it for Liverpool, the Liverpool team that have shown up this year, because obviously Barcelona are the better team, but Liverpool back in February, to me, are a far stronger side still than even Barcelona are now. So I can't be having Barcelona priced as bigger favourites than Liverpool were back then. Obviously, Inter Milan have regressed a little too. So this line is just too short. I think whatever value was on Barcelona has gone now, has evaporated. So I'm happy. Look, if you're giving me a team in Inter here and remember, it's only 8 games into the season. I think it's a bit early to be hitting the panic button. But this team was Serie A favourites. They're at home in this one, catching a half a goal at plus money as well. I really don't need any more incentive than that. So I'm quite happy to come in, take a small piece of Inter. Not a 5% play by any stretch, but in my opinion, whatever value is on this game lies with taking Inter in this spot.
All right, that is Kevin Dolan of WagerTalk.com taking Inter Milan, the hated rivals of my team. I'm a Juventino, Juventus fan, so Kev, thanks for your final appearance on the show. It is great. There's the leans up on the screen for you guys on this first game. And before we get into the next game, which is Chelsea and AC Milan, I want to mention a promo, guys. I put this together for the guys on the show and myself. This is an absolutely great deal. It's the Final 50 is the promo code. You can get every single soccer play, including 5% plays for the rest of this year. That includes everything through the World Cup for half off the regular price. So the 3-month package is usually $599. You can get 50% off that, $300 off that. You can basically works out to $100 a month for the rest of the year. Your soccer plays, that's less than $3.50 a day. There is not a better deal across both sites than this deal right here, other than $2 Tuesdays. So this is like $3 every day. Head over to WagerTalk.com or Sports Memo. Click on one of the Cappers pages, and then drop down soccer menu. Look for the $90 one, or you can find in the deals section there is a Final 50 promo. All right, guys, let's get to this one. Chelsea and AC Milan. Let's have a look at the numbers on this one. Chelsea minus 130 at home, much lower price than they normally would be. The draw is plus 282, and AC Milan plus 357. And Kev, I'm going to go back to you first, but Graham Potter finally gets a win. He's only been there for a couple games regardless, but he needs a win here. After that, they need to get this Champions League start re-going. AC Milan playing extremely well. As far as the lean on this game for myself, I think this is one of those ones where Milan are going to get a result. A draw, I think, is beneficial to them, but I'm not going to play a draw in this. I think this is going to be a tight, low-scoring contest. I'm taking the under here as my lean, Kev. What do you got?
Yeah, completely agree, Carmine. That's what I have written down for this game as well. And as you mentioned, big game for Chelsea here, obviously. Just one win over the last 3 games and all. Obviously Potter's not to blame for this. They failed to keep a single clean sheet now in 8 straight games across all competitions as well. That's not the Chelsea we've become accustomed to over the last 2 years, rooted at the bottom of this Champions League group, obviously, as well. And they did get pretty fortunate against Crystal Palace at the weekend. So, maybe Potter's managerial style hasn't given this team, the kind of new manager bounce that usually happens in these kind of spots. Saying that, though, I still believe they'll end up turning it around at least, as do the books. Despite Chelsea's position in the group, they're still plus 170 to finish top. So, rocky road so far, no doubt. But, just like the books, I expect Chelsea as well to come good at some point. And that likely starts on defence here on Wednesday for me. AC Milan have got a bit of an injury crisis going on right now heading into this game. Got even worse for them at the weekend as well against Empoli with Simon Kjaer, Alexis Saelemaekers and David Calabria all coming off injured in that one. And that's on top of all the other injuries they've got going on right across the pitch right now as well. So while on the surface, those injuries might suggest an over here, especially with so many injuries to their back line, I believe it'll actually be the opposite and support an under here. I would have no doubt Pioli will view this game as a point gain type of matchup. You mentioned the draw at the start instead of 2 points lost. Obviously, if Chelsea mess up here and grant Milan the win, then they'll no doubt take it. But with Milan's injury crisis going on right now, with where they are in the table, combined with a fairly difficult trip to London, and then they're back to face Juventus this weekend as well in a huge Serie A head-to-head, I think he'll be happy. If you offered him the draw pre-game, I think he would take it. See that as a positive result against it's still a strong Chelsea team in London. So I see this being a bit more of a cagey affair here on Wednesday. Just like when you're, taking your driving test, you don't start doing donuts in the car park with the instructor to show up your skills. When there's eyes on you, when the pressure gets ratcheted up, something Graham Potter's likely unused to at this level. You generally look to calm things down, try to eliminate mistakes, take things a bit slower. So I believe with the combination of everything combined, AC Milan's injuries, the fact that Chelsea need a win, I think we see an under in this one. And I like where the price point is at right now as well, being priced at even money. So, yeah, give me a piece of the under 2.5 goals on Wednesday in this one.
All right, Kevin Dolan, WagerTalk.com. And Kev, I agree with you. And Pavlos, before I go to you on this one, you can't always assume good teams are going to just play against each other and score goals. It could very well happen in this game, but you look at, I think a lot of people expected the Chelsea-Salzburg game to go over the total, and that finished in a 1-1 draw. I think two very good sides. It's going to be a chess match out there. Where are you leaning here, Pavlos?
Well, yeah, this could be an under. I actually like what Kevin proposed in the sense that, AC Milan's match against Empoli over the weekend was a goalless draw until the 79th minute. Then Milan scored, and then there were 3 goals in the stoppage time. So this was supposed to be an under, but, this happened. However, Chelsea, they've kept just 1 clean sheet in 9 matches so far in the season. AC Milan have 6 consecutive matches with both teams to score. As Kevin said, they'll be missing pretty much their entire starting defense along with the starting goalkeeper, which only makes things kind of fishy for them, I should say. But Chelsea, they recently changed the coach. They can't possibly be at 100%, after such a change, because it was kind of shocking to see Tuchel leave, to be honest, no matter how hard he messed up. And they have some problems in the back line as well with Cucurella. I think he has a COVID bug or something. Jorginho is out. Kante is still out. Mendy, their starting goalkeeper, actually both starting goalkeepers are out for this match. And Kepa, he's capable of the worst and the best. So how am I approaching this match? I think we're going to see goals from both sides. AC Milan, they have a excellent pedigree in the Champions League. They've qualified in 12 of the last 13 group stages. So right now they're sitting at the top spot. They have 4 points. This is a very sneaky group with Zagreb and Salzburg. And, everything is still open so far. Chelsea will, of course, fight for their first win of the group stage and restore some balance in this group, but I just don't trust their defense right now. Even though on paper they have a really, really good defense, along with all the signings with Fofana and Koulibaly and Cucurella and all those guys. Of course, some of them are missing, but I can't see how this is not a both teams to score. Yes, so I see goals from both sides. Maybe this sticks to a 1-1 draw, which also confirms Kevin's under. So I like both teams to score yes here at -125.
All right, Pavlos, like that. Nick, I'm going to go to you for the final word on this one. And Pavlos mentioned the teams in this group, and it's literally, this group is up for grabs. Chelsea's bottom of this Group E right now with a loss and a draw, but a win here literally takes them on even points with AC Milan, and depending on what happens in that Zagreb-Salzburg game, they could be top of the group at the end of the day. Give me your thoughts.
Yeah, I don't think anybody's expecting Chelsea not to progress from the group, but they do have tough 2 games here, playing Milan twice. This is a tough one. I talked during our show Thursday last week that I just don't want to put my money on Chelsea yet. Although they did win versus Palace, it wasn't all that impressive, as Kevin mentioned. And, of course, that second goal from Gallagher coming in the 90th minute. I was on Palace in that game, so that thought I had that one in the bag, and, of course, that happened. But when it comes to Milan, I don't know why I feel this way, but I keep thinking to myself that they aren't for real. Of course, they won Serie A last year, and they're playing it great again this year, 5-2-1 in league play, coming off a solid 3-1 road win at Empoli over the weekend. Milan did what Chelsea couldn't do in group play so far. They beat Zagreb, while both teams settle for that same 1-1 draw versus Salzburg. Chelsea are more desperate for a win, and I think that could really be a bad spot for them here if they fail to do so, while a draw, as you guys mentioned already, for Milan is fine, and I'm sure they'd be very, very happy to get that. I think that plays into their hands here. I think the pressure is on Chelsea. I don't like to take a team that needs to win or is in this kind of I don't want to call it dire spot. I think they'll still pull through, but it feels like kind of a dire spot for the Blues. I just don't like to take that. You guys mentioned the game's probably going to be very close. I couldn't agree more. I like the underplay. And for that same reason, I'm going to take Milan plus 3/4 of a goal. If Chelsea wins, it's very, very unlikely they're going to win this thing by multiple goals. So I love catching that plus 3/4 of a goal line when I think it's going to be a tight game, because, if it's a 1-goal loss, I look at it as just, it's really a half risk on our wager to possibly win a full wager. So I like AC Milan plus 3/4 of a goal over Chelsea in this one.
All right, Nick Borrman with his thoughts on the AC Milan and Chelsea game. Guys, we are going to head into the final game. First, we'll put up our leans there. You'll see Kevin and I are both on the under. That's kind of scary that him and I agree. But Nick with AC Milan and Pavlos, both teams to score. Yes, let's head over. Benfica and PSG, the odds on this one, Benfica are plus 320 at home. The draw is plus 324, and PSG a small favorite at minus 133. And Pavlos, I'm going to go to you first on this one, but I look at this, and these are two teams right now that look like they're heading into the knockout stages, both on 6 points. Juventus and Maccabi Haifa are at 0 points, and you know how I feel about that one. But I'm looking at this one, and listen, this PSG team has to be one of the favorites to win this competition. I get it. Man City look like they're going to steamroll over everyone, but this is a good team with plenty of quality and one that can score goals. It's never an easy thing to beat a team like Benfica, who are playing extremely well right now, but this is such a short price on PSG. maybe I'm getting sucked in to what the bookmakers are wanting you to do, which is bet PSG. But I am going to fall for that, and I'm going in. I'm taking PSG in this one to take control of this group. Give me your thoughts, Pavlos.
Well, I was looking at the prices about this match, and I was looking towards the goals, and there's some very interesting stats surrounding these two teams. Now, Benfica, they've played 14 matches in all competitions so far in the season, and both teams who score no is 10-4. PSG have played 12 matches in all competitions so far in the season, and both teams who score no is 6-6, which might seem bad, but it's 4-2 on the road. PSG have not kept a clean sheet in their last 10 away matches in the Champions League, but all these stats date back to a time where PSG were far from the team they are now. And now with the M&M up front, Messi, Neymar, and Mbappe, they are scary, to say the least. So their defense only got better in the transfer window. Their midfield also got better in the transfer window. Offense didn't really need to be changed, and the results are pouring in. They've been almost flawless so far in the season, apart from a 1-1 draw against Monaco. They won all other matches. Truth is that they did concede against teams that can score, like Nice, Monaco, as I said before, Lille, Montpellier, and Benfica can score. However, Benfica, they've won both matches in the group stage, and I think they're going to be hanging from a thread in this match, in the sense that if somehow Benfica score the first goal, they're going to play massive defense. They're not very good defensively, to be honest. No, just take all the results from this season with a grain of salt. They have a much worse defense than what their numbers suggest. They have Otamendi and an 18-year-old in the back, but somehow they seem to get the job done. So in the case that Benfica score the first goal, expect 11 men behind the ball and just park the bus type of situation. If PSG score the first goal, Benfica will probably look for the equalizer, and PSG will hurt them at the counter-attack. So I saw the prices on both teams to score yes, and it was like minus 200 or something. I saw both teams to score no at plus 150 in a Champions League match between two teams that are so far apart. I love that. I think the price is way wrong for this match, and given the statistics that I have in my hands, I'm riding with both teams to score no at plus 150 here. I think the price is way higher than it should be.
All right, Pavlos from Sports Memo. Nick, I'm going to go to you next on this one. And while I agree with Pavlos in the sense of if Benfica get ahead, they're going to park the bus, I think it would be the absolutely wrong move to do. You park the bus against a team like PSG, and they're eventually going to break you down and beat you. But I also get the fact that when you have to, even this early, 3 games, Nick, this is match day 3, you have to think long-term in this group. And it is, if you're going to lose to PSG, you don't want to lose by margin, because at some point, if and only if Juventus start to win some games, goal differential could come into it for that second spot in this group if we're conceding that PSG win Group H. But with that said, Nick, give me your thoughts on this one. Do we see some goals? And if so, who gets them?
I don't think we see goals in this game. I mean, I agree with Pavlos on the fact that he's taken both teams to score no, which will play into an under result, which is where I'm leaning. But I don't necessarily agree with the fact that that Benfica's defense isn't good. I think they're pretty solid. I know they have a pretty weak, league that they're playing in, but they've been very, very good. They their result this past weekend, 0-0 draw, snapped a streak of 13 straight games to winning streak to open the season. They've allowed more than one goal just one time. They've kept 9 clean sheets in those 13 games. If you look at the Champions League results so far, in both of their group stage matches, they've allowed less than 1 expected goal, 0.85 to Juve, 0.21 to Maccabi. So, they've really proven that they can shut teams down, while PSG has allowed more than 1 expected goal to each of those teams. And granted, they play a different style, and they're not going to really focus on that defensive end. They know they can just outscore people, but I think that kind of plays into the hands of Benfica here, who will slow this game down, who will look to get a result and grind out one and keep it low scoring, as you mentioned, Carm, with goal differential. They're going to do everything they can to keep this game low scoring, keep PSG off the board. I don't think they're going to press the issue by any means. And I think PSG, ultimately, I agree with you as well, Carm, on the price of PSG. It's hard not to want to take them, but I don't think it's going to be a 4-0, 5-0, or 5-1, whatever kind of result. I don't think we're going to see a lot of goals from PSG. I think they're going to struggle to break them down. If you look at the results themselves, first 4 games of the year, 4 goals, 5 goals, 5 goals, 7 goals. I mean, that's incredible to start the season. But since then, they haven't scored more than 3 in any of their last 8 games. And I just see this one playing a little tighter all the way through. 3.25 goals, I think, is a great number to jump on the total, and the under here. And one stat for you guys I'll throw out there is it's only been 2 match days so far, but the over-unders, 11 overs, 20 unders so far in the group stage. So a lot of games are playing out tighter and low scoring right now. So I'll keep that trend going. I think under 3.25 goals here for this one.
All right, final word on this game. We're heading over to Kev. Kev, you get to rebut Nick if you want to, but we're giving you the final word. Let us know where you're going on this one.
No real opinion on the goal line, Carmine, so I can't really rebut him. But look, I've been a massive fan of what Roger Schmidt's done this year over in Lisbon, but I'm the same as you. I just can't help shaking that feeling that PSG will grab a late winner in this game. So, some kind of 85th minute plus goal prop, because they have a kind of Mariana Trench depth off the bench to bring on. We've seen at the weekend, Mbappe comes on, grabs that late goal against Nice. They look shaky as well against Maccabi Haifa. Early in that second half, 1-1, tight game. And then later on, Mbappe and Neymar pop up 2 goals, bang, bang. And I just feel that's going to be the same here, as good a team as Benfica. Or I remember years ago, not to get off topic quickly, but Michael Jordan was talking about facing the Boston Celtics in the mid-1980s. The Bulls were blowing them out by 20-plus points. He looks over to the far side of the court. The Celtics are cracking jokes. They look completely unfazed. And Jordan, obviously, as he does, he took that personally. But fourth quarter rolls around, the Celtics come out, blow them out by 25, win the game. So Jordan said that was his first kind of exposure to a kind of champion level mentality. And I just feel that's how this game's going to go as well. I think it'll be tight. It'll be close. Benfica will, play them hard. They'll get chances. But I just feel, you'll get to that end of the game, 85th minute, and Mbappe will start cracking his knuckles. He'd look over to Neymar, and, the commentators will be going, Benfica deserves something from this game as PSG grab a late winner. So, PSG minus 135 is a very appealing price. And, if I'm playing this game, that's what I'm going to be on.
Okay, guys, there you have it. Kevin Dolan's thoughts on Benfica and PSG. 3 games that we've covered: Inter Milan, Barcelona, Chelsea, AC Milan, Benfica, PSG. There's the leans for you on this one. And now we are going to get into our best bet segment of the show. And Nick, I'm going to go over to you for your thoughts. Give us a best bet and tell us what you got up at WagerTalk.
Thanks, Carm. I do have a 5% play Champions League going today, 2-0 so far in the Champions League 5%, and haven't lost one yet on this European season. Only released 3, so it's been very selective. So this is my 4th one. Have not lost. Hopefully we'll keep that streak going today. For me, another Champions League game I'm looking at, I want to get on the Man City train. They're playing Copenhagen. 3 goals is a lot to lay, but it looks like, that Man City 5-0 result happens a lot in the Premier League. Basically when they play Burnley, but I feel like this is a very similar type of a game here. And another way to play this, instead of just taking that Asian handicap, is Erling Haaland. What this guy is doing is just, it's incredible. He's got 14 goals, 8 Premier League matches, 3 hat tricks already. To put that in perspective, the Golden Boot winners from last year, Mo Salah and Son, scored 23 goals. He's at 14. There are still 30 league games left. I mean, that is just incredible. Obviously, his Premier League career is very short, but he's scoring 1 goal for every 14 touches. To put that in perspective, Jamie Vardy, second on that list, 1 goal for every 50 touches. Just the numbers he is doing. He's on pace to rewrite every record book that there is. And last one I'll mention, at the age of 22, Erling Haaland has scored 170 goals in his professional career. Cristiano Ronaldo at the same age, 50. Lionel Messi, 44. So this guy is on pace to break every record. Right now, you can get Erling Haaland to score 2 or more goals for minus 110 in this game. This looks like a 4-0, 5-0 blowout win. And if that's going to happen, Erling Haaland's going to be the guy to be putting a couple in the back of the net. So I like Erling Haaland, score 2 or more goals in this match, Man City versus Copenhagen.
All right, Nick with a best bet there. Erling Haaland, the guy is unbelievable. The only guy I know who at the age of 22 was scoring more than him is Pavlos Laguretos. This guy is a chick magnet. Pavlos, give us a best bet, my friend.
Okay, I am 2-0 with 5% top bets in the Champions League so far in the season. I have another one loaded for tonight, as well as a couple of 4% best bets, one for tonight, one for tomorrow, and a couple of 2-packs, one for tonight and one for tomorrow. Now, I'm going to give you guys a free play for tomorrow's early matches in the Champions League, and you know that these are very sneaky and very tricky matches. We're talking about Salzburg versus Dinamo Zagreb. Salzburg, they've played 12 matches in the Austrian League and the Champions League so far. They kept just 6 clean sheets. However, they only kept clean sheets against teams with under a 50% win rate. They kept 0 clean sheets with against teams with over 50% win rate, and they haven't kept a single clean sheet in 2 Champions League matches either. Both teams to score is 4-1 in their last 5. Now Zagreb, they've played 19 matches in the Croatian League and the Champions League so far, and they scored in all but 1 match, and they're 15-4 to the both teams to score. This is a very volatile group with AC Milan and Chelsea also vying for those 2 top spots, and everything is still open. This is a huge match for both sides, actually, Salzburg and Dinamo Zagreb. But Zagreb, they know that even a draw here would be a good result, as they would retain the second place of the group. But in order to do so, they're going to have to score, because Salzburg's defense, it's not really that good, but their offense is. So they do have some quality up front, and I see goals from both sides in this match. Again, this is an early match in the Champions League. We often see upsets in those early matches. And Salzburg, I can't imagine, they can't possibly back up these prices. I mean, minus 146 against the Dinamo Zagreb side that are regulars in the Champions League. I just don't see it. So both teams to score is 6-0 in the last in all 6 previous matches between the 2 sides, including the Champions League qualifiers 6 years ago, where Zagreb kicked out Salzburg and claimed the ticket to the group stage themselves. So I like both teams to score minus 125 here.
All right, Pavlos with a play on both teams to score. Kev, I'm going to go over to you for your thoughts on one of these games and a best bet for us.
Yeah, we got a triple pack up for tonight, Carmine. Stronger double pack up for tomorrow. I like tomorrow's games more, but we're going to turn our attention to Celtic Leipzig early kickoff. We all know how those games go. So not like in reports right now, Postecoglou possibly in line for the Wolves job. I don't see him leaving Celtic, but it's nonetheless distracted them. They lost to St Mirren 2 weeks ago. They barely beat Motherwell at the weekend as well. But at the end of the day, I can't be having this Leipzig team being favoured by more than 1 goal against anyone in the Champions League. Marco Rose has just 2 wins under his belt since taking over the club. That coming against bottom of the table Bochum at the weekend as well. They got smashed to bits by Shakhtar Donetsk in this venue just a couple of weeks ago as well in the Champions League. And, if they win here, it'll very likely be by the minimum. So yeah, give me Celtic plus a full goal head start in this one tomorrow. If you can bounce it up to plus 1.25 at around minus 135 right now, more is the better. But yeah, either way, Celtic plus 1 for me tomorrow afternoon against RB Leipzig. Best bet.
All right. Best of luck with that play, Kev, and your card, of course. Guys, before I go into my best bet and sign off, I just want to mention that promo again. I put this together for all the guys on the show, so you can find us at WagerTalk in the deal section or Sports Memo, half off the rest of the soccer year. The 3-month package is normally $5.99. I've cut that in half, so you can get literally 3 months at $100 a month, $299 over at WagerTalk and Sports Memo. That's $100 a month for soccer. It's an absolutely great deal, and you get every play in soccer for the rest of the year, all Champions League, all domestic league stuff, all the World Cup, which kicks off in November, every single play, including 5% plays. That is a great deal. All right, guys, every show I come up with a best bet to close off the show, and it's never one that's priced as high as this one, although this isn't priced too high, but I'm going to lay some juice on a halftime, full-time one with Liverpool. Not the greatest game by this team on the weekend against Brighton, finishing 3-3 in that one. But they're playing Rangers, who have been punching bags thus far in Group A, and I expect that to continue here. They've lost 4-0 and 3-0. I expect Liverpool to have the lead at halftime, go on and win this game. It is juicy at 185. That's big, but I'm going to take it. Liverpool minus 185 on the halftime full-time result. That is going to be my show best bet. We are going to be back on Thursday, 10 a.m. We are going to cover some EPL games for the weekend. For myself, Nick Borrman, Kevin Dolan, and Pavlos Laguretos, of course. Thanks for watching Stoppage Time. We will see you on Thursday, and good luck with your wagers, guys.
Tuesdays is known as $2 Tuesdays at WagerTalk.com and SportsMemo.com, where you can get the hottest handicappers' best bet or daily package for only $2.